Hello, welcome to episode 8 of Afterglow. Today we're going to be checking out Air Combat for the PlayStation 1. And I know it kind of sounds like an odd name, but Air Combat is actually the first game, at least in the US, for the Ace Combat series of, how do I put it? I wanted to say battle flight games, but that doesn't sound right. In-air dogfighting. Maybe that's it. But, really a fantastic game series. I've enjoyed a lot of the installments in the Air Combat, Ace Combat series, and it all started with this game, which we'll be checking out after the cut. I'll tell you what, the one thing about that franchise, at least in my eyes, they've always got a killer soundtrack. Just crazy, crazy guitar work, and lots of fun just to sit and listen to without playing the game. But my experience with getting this game is, I wouldn't say it's very unique in this case. However, it was one of the first PlayStation games I did play. I had spent a summer mowing yards to save up the money to purchase a PlayStation, and whenever I got one, I couldn't get any games with it. I had enough for the system, not for the games. I had been reading a lot of the official PlayStation magazine, though, too. It's one thing I was spending money on other than putting back for that PlayStation. So I had a ton of demo discs. But my grocery store in town had a very, very small rack that sold discs and PlayStation games in it. Not very many games. I think there might have been like a selection of 12 to 16 games. And most of them were budget games, like in that $20 area where it had like, I think the green greatest hits label on the side of it. Now, if I recall correctly, I have seen this game sold in the big long box that PlayStation had before they switched over to the jewel cases. My version was the jewel case version. That was definitely like a greatest hits version. But it was not my first time playing a game like this, but it was my first time playing a game that had the depth that this had. There was a game on the NES called Stealth ATF that I had that I really, really liked. Go figure, it was kind of like Top Gun on the NES. But I really, really liked that style of dogfighting. And this, in my opinion, is like the evolved version of Stealth ATF, where you've got 360-degree control. You know, you've got control going up and down instead of just having a limit. You got full speed control. And it was a blast, and I really liked the plane model figures, too, at least before you acquired them. You have a hangar in the game where you can use the funds you get from beating missions to purchase new planes. And the plane models look really, really cool in this game, in my opinion, until you buy them. After you buy them, they get spray-painted white with this bird or eagle outline on the plane too, and I never cared much for that. I really preferred the original model whenever you got the plane. Thankfully, in later games, you have the regular original model instead of that custom, I guess you'd call it a squadron paint job. But Yeah, I got this game home and I had a blast with it. Now, at the time, I did not have a memory card for my PlayStation either, so I had no way of saving my progress. Thankfully, this game is a perfect game to be in a situation like that, because you can really, once you know this game, you can beat it in less than an hour. Maybe a little bit more than an hour, but easily within that 1 hour time frame. And for the longest period, I didn't even know you could save your game. As a matter of fact, I don't think I ever actually saved my game until I started doing this game through emulation. And there's that word again, you know what that means.
Do what you want, 'cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate. You're our favorite indeed. Being a pirate is a wretched deed. Do what you want, 'cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate. You are a pirate.
Yeah. Now, hear me out. I don't think I was actually a pirate, because I bought and owned this game. I was playing it through Bleem on my PC, and then later on I did the standard EPSXE, I believe the emulator I was using emulation. But no. I own the game. I just use that ISO to make it more convenient for me to be able to play it instead of having to play it on original hardware now. So I don't think that counts as piracy, so take back the sound clip. But anyway, yeah, I didn't even know you could save until through emulation. I was digging through the options, and oh, look, there's a save feature on here. And it actually does let you save your missions to the current mission that you are on. But I think you've got to, really be paying attention. It's not really obvious that it saves your progress. At least to me it wasn't. Now, maybe I'm just an idiot and everyone else is like, how did you not know? But to me, it took forever to realize that you could save your game. But I didn't care, because this is one of those games I could easily sit down, run through in an hour, and be completely satisfied with it. For the most part. Now, there is one type of mission I hated. And that would be the one where you fly through a canyon. And you cannot go over a certain altitude, because if you go over that altitude, enemy radar detects you and shoots you down immediately. And you have to watch your speed in this canyon, because if you try to go through there with your afterburners blaze and you're going too fast, you can't make the turns, you're going to bounce off the canyon wall and die. I do find it funny that depending on what difficulty you're playing on, you do get one kind of bounce off the wall instead of just immediately blowing up whenever you hit that wall, which is what should happen. Just the idea of a plane hitting a canyon wall almost head on, still being able to fly, is hilarious to me, at least. But I think the only way this game ever got re-released was on the PlayStation Network as a downloadable title. I want to say that happened once or twice. Let's check the Google just to be sure, though, because honestly, I can't remember. So, on this thrilling section of the podcast, we're going to Google and see if Air Combat 1 is on PSN. I see my version, which is a greatest hits copy, and yep, there is the long box version. Store PlayStation.com, search Air Combat. Let's see, I see Ace Combat 7, which, by the way, is an awesome game. I don't see one on here. So maybe it's unavailable right now. I thought they released it on, the store back whenever I had a PSP, but perhaps I am wrong. Anyway, though, I enjoyed the combat in the game. More or less, my technique was to try to get behind an enemy plane, fire off a couple missiles, and try to hang behind them if no one's behind me. If 2 missiles takes them out, great. Sometimes it takes a third for some enemies. Until you get to the kind of sort of final boss, which is this big, non-realistic at all giant aircraft carrier, which has a crap ton of missile pods that it can fire at. Yeah, it has a crap ton of engines to keep it afloat. It's a fun enemy to take out. But after you've played this game where everything is kind of sort of realistic, other than, bouncing your plane off of a canyon and maybe a plane being able to take more than one missile hit, it was kind of jarring to see this giant, I think it's called an arsenal bird, but fun enemy to take out that kind of takes you out of the realism just a little bit. Still, though, a blast of a game if you're into anything that has dogfighting. Really, the only equivalent at the time for me would have been something like, again, those stealth ATF games and the Top Gun games on the NES. Star Fox just felt different to me. So this is one of those early games that really got me into the PlayStation 1 and held me there for a long time, and it was an early game for me. And this and maybe a couple others, those demo discs, were my main games for a while until almost like a year later, whenever I could start mowing yards again. But thanks for sitting here and listening to me talk about my experiences for air combat. Definitely check it out if you haven't yet. I think it's aged well. The graphics, they're definitely rough compared to today's graphics, but the gameplay itself, I think, is held up really well. So be sure to go check it out, and I'll see you guys on the next episode of Afterglow.